Okay, good morning. It's Deja Bliss. Welcome back to my channel. I told you I was going to the mountains, so I'm up in beautiful Park City right now. It's actually a beautiful day. And I wanted to talk about Kundalini in just our day-to-day experiences, because I think that's important, because it's often easy to think of, I've got my yoga practice and then I've got my life. So this applies to all kinds of yoga. Kundalini, of course, is the spiritual awakening. So generally we think of it more in terms of I'm feeling differently in my everyday life, but people are also familiar with Kundalini yoga. Maybe you practice or you're trying to practice. But let's just kind of chat a little bit about Kundalini in our day-to-day, okay? So sometimes it's easy to reflect back on something that happened and look at it as a Kundalini experience, or to recognize an experience that you've been engaged in as spiritual awakening. It's a little more challenging to be in each experience as the witness, drasta, as the witness, the observer, and like think to yourself while you're in an interaction, oh, this person's coming from their third chakra, they must be clearing it out, I'm also doing that, that's why we're connecting, and have like a moment, like a conscious moment in life where you can recognize these things. And that's of course a level of mastery that you eventually obtain by working through these things regularly. So let's just kind of discuss that a little bit. I've got my cup of tea. I'm drinking this anti-stress tea, which is this lovely combination of ashwagandha, cardamom, tulsi. I can't remember everything that's in here, but it's a really nice one. When I get heightened moments of life force energy, my whole system feels stimulated. So I try to stay away from coffees and even green teas and stuff when I'm feeling that way, which I am feeling that way now. In this eclipse season, it's really heightened the sensations in my body. So just taking that into account when you're eating is maybe easier for some people, because you might think of that, this is too stimulating to my body, or I'm already in a stimulation mode, and so let's reduce the other stimulants. And that's true about all kinds of things. Like I took myself out of the city purposefully to kind of calm my system and go somewhere that was a little bit less populated than where I've been staying. So that's something to consider as well, where you're at in your progress of your awakening. Sometimes we need something to push us forward, we need to do, but sometimes we need to just be and pull ourselves out of the grind, right? Also, different factors of nature can be very assisting to like spend time with the sun. I have some videos on this channel that are like sun eating exercises and purification exercises with the sun. That was some of that I recorded during my time in Arizona when the sun was really, really with me. And I actually moved to Arizona for a time kind of purposefully during a die-off phase, or I knew I needed to do a die-off, a dying to the old. And sometimes it's hard to do that when you're around everyone that you know and you're around your regular expectations and so forth. So like I moved myself and my small family out into the desert for 1.5 years so I could really experience letting some parts of myself go. So that's another consideration, is it's really hard to do your life the same. That's why a midlife crisis is called what it is, because it's hard to do your life the same when you're feeling so different. And this is a continual experience in our awakening journey, as you're continuing to feel different. You're continuing to open up to new layers of self And so how can you support yourself and not needing to be the way you used to be? You know, sometimes we feel weird acting a different way or dressing a different way because people won't recognize you, or they'll think you're different or weird, or you've changed or whatever. But that is sort of the point of being alive, is to grow and to change and evolve. And so to give yourself whatever the time space that is, to allow for the growth and change, to allow for the shedding, however you might do that. So in India, there's ashrams, and the ashrams are meant to give you a place to exist and live while you're going through this, right? So the day-to-day things can be taken care of cleaning and eating and, you know, having things, food made, and you just sort of take turns in shifts doing it, rather than having to really like show up all the time for yourself. Sometimes it's hard to do that. I'm sure a lot of you found that there's audios and things that you can listen to while you're driving around. Maybe you listen to me while you're driving around. Of course, avoid things like binaural beats and yoga nidras while you're in the car. But also silence is your friend during an awakening, to really like let yourself be in the silent. So let's just try that for 1 minute. It's kind of different in a video. And that's about a minute. You'll find, did you notice this sound of this machine turned on right after we went into silence? So that's the void space. When you go into silence, it's like life doesn't want you to. It tries to fill in the void. I got all these kinds of notifications popping up, and you know, sounds of bird life and so forth come in. And that's what you'll find even when you try to take time for yourself, that things want to fill the space that you carve out for yourself. So making sure to honor that in yourself and recognize when things are trying to come in and be like, yeah, but I got this place, you know, like designated for myself right now, and just really giving yourself that time. And then I guess I want to just talk about like the people that we interact with. Usually we attract people that are going to specifically mirror something for us that we are going through internally. So that can be helpful if there's an irritant or an interest or an attraction or these sorts of things that pop in. That can be mirroring an internal process that you're going through. So just being aware of that so that you maybe don't take it so personally, or you can acknowledge, hey, that's a process that I'm going through. This person just happens to be showing up and showing me that. It can heighten your sense of awareness of your own internal process. And that's kind of a neat reflection game to be like, oh, what's this person going through? Where am I feeling that? Where am I going through that? What part of my process is that? And you can find that everywhere in the world. You can find, you know, like if there's congestion on the road or with a group of people, you can turn within and you can find that congestion in yourself. That doesn't mean you have to change it, but just to acknowledge it and be with it is kind of a fun way to be really present with your process. So we just kind of jumped around to a few different things today. I hope it was enjoyable. I'm just loving feeling the sun on my back. I wanted to share some of this different vibe with you, since we're always in my little studio space in my room. So thank you for tuning in. We're getting closer to that solar eclipse next week. So preparing this week by just noticing the needs of self. What does the self need? This eclipse is going to be in Aries, which is in the Western astrology conjunct Chiron, which is our inner wounds. So the wounds might be coming up, they might be resurfacing. So just be as much as you can an observer of that, giving yourself what you need to nurture. And we'll see you again tomorrow. This is Stasia Bliss. Thank you for joining me. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe, share it, and I'll see you again. Namaste, and I love you.